Lagom presents A Bump in the Road, a story of fertility, hope, and trying again. Written and read by me, Elle Wright. For O, because I'd do it all 1,000 times over if it led me to you. And for the doctors, nurses, and midwives who were there to hold my hand in delivering the good news and the bad. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, sometimes it takes one to have one. Introduction. As I walked into the hospital that morning, I was struggling to understand that this was actually happening. How could this cruel version of events actually be my reality after already losing my first child, Teddy, at 3 days old? And yet, here I was, back in the hospital delivery suite, half a year later to deliver mine and my husband's baby at almost 15 weeks. A baby whose tiny heart had stopped beating a couple of days prior because of some medication I had taken. This was a termination for medical reasons after another heartbreaking diagnosis. Something I never imagined I would have to live through, let alone so soon after the death of our son. Yet here we were. I won't go into the detail of how I delivered that tiny baby silently into the world during that first week of January 2017. It's simply too painful to relive. But I will say that it was something that changed my perspective of chasing a happy ending forever. I think this was the moment it dawned on me that this journey to the motherhood I craved so badly was not going to be as straightforward as I had hoped. The following week, feeling desperate and lonely in my quest to become a mum again, I began writing. This was when my blog was born, and I started to process the emotions I was feeling. It was my form of therapy, a huge cathartic release as those words poured out onto the page. I felt like I was writing more than I would ever publish in my little corner of the internet, but it felt too good to stop. A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. And, as bad luck would have it, it turns out there are plenty of us out there, the unlucky ones. The women whose journey into motherhood or whose yearning for more children has yet to be fulfilled by the universe. So my writing became a place to tell this story, my motherhood story, in all of its, quite frankly, unbelievably shitty detail. Then came the opportunity to turn some of my writing about the life of my son Teddy, the pain and grief of losing him, and what life was like for me after, into a book, which I called Ask Me His Name. As teenagers, it seemed we were always being reminded, do not have sex, you will get pregnant. So deep is the belief in our own potent fertility that when we do eventually decide that we are ready to become parents, it's as if we will cast aside that last packet of contraceptive pills and miraculously be with child after no more than a couple of glasses of wine and a romantic weekend away. Even despite the signs our bodies may give us over the years that we might not be the fertile Wonder Women that we have been led to believe we are. I was one who still believed. When we began trying for a baby in 2014, at the age of 29, I truly envisaged that I would blink and be pregnant. Yet I waited a full 10 months. A time frame I now know to be a mere drop in the fertility fuckery ocean compared to other people's journeys, but one that nonetheless broke me with each month of waiting. It's only now that I realise that perhaps that little stretch was merely a training exercise for the 3.5 years we were set to endure after Teddy's death. Years of questions, tests, drugs, procedures, tears, IVF, loss, so many more tears and frustration, all bound together by our shared belief that one day it would happen again, somehow. Now I am certain that in so many parts of our story, I am not the only one to have gone through it. It makes sense to write it all down. For all of us, and for any women and parents who might go through some of what we did too. So here it is in full, our journey to a rainbow. A story
Sample complete. Ready to continue?